Hey guys, welcome back. So I put a towel underneath me today, just so it's nice and clean, although my workbench is actually pretty clean today. And I don't have a whole lot of techniques in mind. I have one in mind, but I'm still trying to figure out how to execute it. So until I figured that out, I thought I'd work on Christmas beads. And since I love the way swirls work in bracelets and earrings and necklaces, I figured we'd play with the swirl bead for a little bit. And I'm not a Christmas fan. I mean, I love the holiday. I'm just not a big fan of Christmas jewelry. But I do have a few cutters that might be kind of fun to use as well. So maybe we'll play with those today as well. But the swirl bead is probably my favorite. Because it's a good way to get rid of your scrap cane. But it's also cool when you make it deliberate. So I don't know how much of the green I'm going to use, so I'll just do one more small slice right there. I'm going to run this through the pasta machine just a couple of times. I don't need it really conditioned because it's going to be really conditioned after I roll it in my hands. And I'm doing it at the thickest setting, and I'm going to try and make these consistent, which is why I'm going to cut these out in little circles. And that way I know that my bead should be the same size, even though it usually doesn't turn out that way. I'm hoping this time it will. I'm just gonna kind of squish this down and get this in. It's a cold morning in this house. It's weird. We're at the part of the year where you want to turn the heater on as soon as you wake up because it's really cold. And then you have to shut it off and run the swamp cooler during the day because it heats up. I don't know why that we've been in the 90s this week, but it's been a warm October. So it can go either way out here. We could either go really cold on Halloween night or really warm on Halloween night. Alright, so I got a bunch of circle cutters here. Just trying to figure out how big we want each of our bead, and since I don't know, I'm going to use those just to start. Okay, and I'm going to do 2 of these. Let's see how big this gets. Okay, that might be an okay size. Okay. And these are going to be an intentional swirl. What I mean by that is I'm not just cutting up scraps of clay and making it into anything. I'm going to intentionally put the colors in. Okay. And I'm using pearl just because I think that's about how thick the green is and how thick the red is. I'm using pearl just because it just looks so much better when you have that pearl and you cut them out, or you, God, I can't talk and work at the same time, obviously. It just works better when you sand it and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to take a strip of green. I'm going to take a strip of red and clean that up a little bit. And yeah, that's a little bigger, but that's okay because I'll cut that down. That's all I'm doing right there, is just putting them together. and then I'll cut around it. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, and if you don't like doing it that way, you could take your green and your red. So we'll do it two different ways. That way you can see that you don't have to do it the way I do it. There's all kinds of ways you can do this. So you can make a circle with your red and your green. Okay, and then you can do kind of what you did with your pearl and just cut out a slice just like that and then just stick it in there. Okay, you just got to make sure that you're using the same exact size. So what did we use? I think we used 2 of them, didn't we? Okay, so let's try this. I was thinking of using gold as the background. I thought that would kind of look cool, but I didn't know if the green and the red would disappear into it. So that's why I didn't do that. Okay, so there is our white with green. And I'm going to use that since I've already got color on it now. And then I'll save the rest of these for something else. I don't know, the 2 colors that I hate the most, believe it or not, are red and green. If it's a dark red, like a burgundy, I like it. If it's a dark green, I like it. If it's straight red and green, for some reason, I just don't like it. Alright, so let's see how that works. Okay. So there is our first little hamburger, I guess you can call it. Okay, so now we just take our little trusty acrylic block right here, and as you can see, I'm not even. Just gonna set that right on top. And the way I do this, I think I've showed this in another video, is I always make sure that my fingers are resting on the table. Because if you go sideways, you're going to get it to kind of distort. But if you have this straight on top like this, and like I said, I have my hands kind of sliding against the table, and my thumbs are sliding on the other side, and that way I know that I've got even pressure on this. And yes, they will move here. I'm not quite sure how much of a swirl I want on this, but see, I moved my thumbs, and now you can see I've got an oblong shape, which doesn't look too bad. To bring that back, you just make really big swirls, and it'll bring it back to the center here. And for some reason, it's not sticking. And normally, if you use this a lot, you know, and it gets kind of slime on it from clay, it doesn't seem to stick. So make sure you wipe down your surface with alcohol and get all that stuff off of it. And then it usually sticks better. So now we're just going to kind of form it back into a circle. because it kind of flattened on me instead of moving. And yeah, make sure you wipe this one down too. And you should use alcohol on this, because I've heard that alcohol discolors it and cracks it. Although I've never had that problem. And this one just does not want to stick. Well, that's never good. I don't know what else I could be doing wrong here. Usually swirls are easy to make. Alright, we're just going to do it an old way. Maybe because I was trying to go so slow. There we go. And now I'm just going to make it wider. And that'll help me get that swirl right back in the center there. Okay. Ah, look at that. Okay, so I really like the way that one turned out. That side's not too bad. So I'm going to go just a little bit more and see if we can get that bottom to swirl a little bit. Okay, and then when you think you're done, all you got to do is push it down a little bit, like that. Okay. So there is our little swirl. Oop. So that's one. So we're going to make another one of those. Probably should put out a little bit more of the green, and that actually turned out a lot bigger than I thought it was going to turn out. But for earrings, those are going to be a perfect size. Okay, so I'm just going to run it through once just to get it all one width here. Okay, that we're not going to use. Alright, so we need two. And then we'll do the same. Do the same with this, just so we can pull out a strip. So I have an idea, and the one thing with working with red, which I just noticed now that I didn't notice before, is if you can see, it's going to turn your pearl red. I don't know if I can sand it off. I think I probably could, but I don't want to take a chance. So I'm just going to use alcohol. This is why my hands look the way they do. It's so dry. Alright, so we're going to try that again. I'll use that for something else. You could wear gloves when you work with red. Okay. So, again, we're going to cut off a little bit in the middle for both the green and the red. And I'm going to have to wipe my hands again because I got to do this to the red. So I have an idea. Obviously, I like making clay things. But I also like making glass beads, and I love making putting jewelry together. And I know that most people on this channel like the clay stuff the most. So I may be starting another channel where I've got just jewelry. And I think the reason for that is I haven't been making jewelry since I was a kid, but let's just say I've collected beads ever since I was very small. And my daughter ended up doing that too. We used to just always collect beads. I've actually got stuff that I had as a child, still here, believe it or not. And I've just accumulated so much stuff. Years ago, I used to work at Michael's. I had a friend that was a manager, so I helped her out one Christmas, and I ended up staying for about, I think 2 years I stayed. But Michael's gives you 30% off as an employee. And when you have 30% off and you have 70% off of all of their beads, which, by the way, they don't do anymore. When COVID hit, CEOs changed in Michael's and they got extremely greedy. And if you've noticed, there's not very many great sales on beads. Sometimes they might have 50% off, which is great. But never like I used to see when I worked there. And then COVID hit. And I know that they changed, well, this was years ago. How's that? But then I've noticed that when COVID hit, I was told that the CEO changed for my friend, who's actually still a manager there. And yeah, all their coupons went away. Everything kind of went away. And so I have not been in Michael's in quite a few years, actually. But while I was there, like I said, you know, they go on sale. And what are you going to do? You know, your beads are 70% off, 30% off on you. That's, you know, technically 100% off. Obviously, it isn't. But the beads were so cheap. So I stocked up on so many. And, you know, if something caught my eye, I'd buy it. And never did anything with them, and I still haven't done anything with them. And in past videos, you've seen my drawers, how overstuffed they are of beads, and I still buy beads. And I finally said, I stop. Well, kind of. So, I still have a couple bead subscription boxes that I get every month, okay? There's a lot of people on YouTube that do unboxings for these bead subscriptions. And they're cool. You know, you can watch 1 or 2 people, but when there's 50 people unboxing the same box, it's like, what's the point? You know, but people are seeing other people do it, and they want to start a channel doing the same thing, but it's just redundant. But saying that, here, let me concentrate on this, and then I'll kind of explain. It's kind of like, you know, have you noticed when you're driving somewhere, and you got the radio on, and you're lost, or you're trying to find a direction, the first thing you do is you just turn the radio down low. It's like, I don't know, you just need that extra focus there, which is really funny, because I did that the other day, and the first thing I did was turn down the radio, and it's like, that really didn't matter, but yeah, we do that all the time, I think. So when I talk and do these, and I'm not really concentrating, although this really doesn't take concentration. And this one was a lot easier. Okay, I think that one looks good. So we're going to go ahead and turn this a little bit. Okay, like that. And then we're just going to kind of flatten it. And that's just going slow and pushing down with a little bit of pressure. Okay, so here are our 2 Christmas earrings. Look at those. Those are going to be cool. Don't care for the pink. Hopefully that will sand right off. I'm going to try and buff those instead of actually using resin on those. Let's see what happens. But anyways, back to the beading story. So, I don't even know where I left off. It's my Monday. I don't know why, but Mondays are good for me. Tuesdays I'm a little off. So anyways, I have a subscription to something called the Bargain Bead Box. It's a monthly subscription. It's like 20 bucks. I have a subscription to Sam's Bead Box, which is another bead subscription. That's a little more expensive. That's like $45. I think it ended up being $50 a month. But the beads are exceptional. You know, they're grade A quality and stuff like that. And then I have Potomac, which I'm probably going to dump. So Potomac offers two kits. One is a treasure edition, one is a kit edition. I ordered both just to see what they were all about. The kit edition is not too bad. It comes with patterns and the beads to make each pattern. So this is more on the beading kind of side of things. Not just stringing. I mean, it's actually beadwork with seed beads and stuff like that for the most part. The treasure edition is just a bunch of beads thrown in there so that you can add to your stash. Okay, but they want like $30 for a stash box that you might make one or two things out of. I don't know. I'm not impressed with it. And Potomac beads is really expensive anyways, so I don't order from them very often. They've got great stuff, but unfortunately they are a little bit more expensive. So, oh, and I have one more. I know, I don't know why I do this, but it's called the Gemstone Orphanage. And what that is, and it's so cute, they give you adoption papers for a focal bead that you get. And they just build a theme around that gemstone. It's very high quality. I love their stuff. Has a story about each. So let's say it's agate or, I don't know, anything, carnelian or whatever. You'll get a focal and then you'll get beads that just kind of roll around there. But anyways, instead of doing the unboxing, I was thinking of starting a channel of just making beads from, or making jewelry from what you get in the box. And that's what all those unboxing bead videos were all about. Is they unbox it and then maybe a couple days later they come back and show you, you know, what they came up with, and then they build the jewelry out of that box. So you don't need another unboxing video. Everybody knows what's in the box. But I really want to start making more jewelry videos just because that is a passion of mine just as much as all the rest of them. And unfortunately, it's like there's at least 4 or 5 people that I used to watch on their jewelry tutorials, because you can learn a lot of new tricks, you know, by watching other people. One of them, unfortunately, has recently passed away unexpectedly. The other one has taken a break, and it's been at least 5-6 months break. The other one also has taken a break, so there's only like 2 left. And I just feel like we need more jewelry making tutorials out there. Now, I don't consider myself a great jewelry maker, but I do try. And I just really want to, I don't know, I just want to go in there and try and see what I can do. And maybe that'll get me out of my comfort zone. Yeah, I'm just making triangles on this one. I don't know why. I'd like to make a diamond, actually, but I'm going to do 2 greens and 2 reds. Here, let me get this. I wish I had triangle cutters. I do have triangle cutters. I just haven't made any for me. But anyways, so I'm thinking of starting a new channel and also cross-post it on this channel. So obviously, I hope you guys don't mind that, but I don't know. I don't make jewelry that often. I'm not really, I don't know how I want to put that. I mean, I know how to make jewelry, but I don't know if I know how to make good jewelry, if that makes sense. So this kind of gives me an opportunity to practice, you know, although I'll be practicing in front of people. You all seem to have no problems when I make my mistakes, and I think every video that I make has 1 or 2 mistakes in there, if not more. And that is really kind of how we learn, because we all come across those mistakes and go, oh, yep, I've done that before. So that one's going to be under Me and the Mutts. So I think we're going to be a Me and the Mutts YouTube channel. I think I actually have one that I started because I really want to start showcasing the beads that I sell as well. So not only will I do the beadbox commercials, videos, but also make stuff like that yellow really spring bracelet that we did the last time. I want to do more like that too, and showcase some of the beads that I have on my website. So anyways, that's what I've been thinking of. So we'll see. I mean, somebody mentioned time. I think it was Rebecca. She knows who she is. I don't know if you guys know Jan Montarsi. So he is a not a lamp work. He is a clay artist as well. He's really, really good though. And he's more on the line of perfection, because his stuff are just like triangles and everything that's just technical to me, that I still don't understand how he does it. And it's kind of interesting what he does. But we were talking the other day, and we were both talking about, you know, we work so much. Like me, I make cutters all day. I'm working on some. You can hear the printer in the background right now. You know, by the time you sit down to try and create something, you're exhausted. And I just want, we both were talking about just wanting a day or two to not have to do anything but make things with clay. Just fool around and play around and all of that stuff. And it just doesn't seem to happen. So I would just love to be able to be in here all day long, just making videos all day long. Might be exhausting after a while, but just to know that you don't have anything pressing, you know, I don't have cutters to make or food to cook and dogs to walk, and just a day, just a day on your own. So I'm going to have to plan one of those days soon. But life always seems to get in the way, doesn't it? Okay, so I didn't put it on the bottom. I got it as close as I can, but I didn't quite put it on the bottom. So now I want to figure out, do I want to roll from the top there, or do I want to roll onto the bottom this way? So if you just have them on the sides like this, as you're rolling it into a swirl, these are going to come up. So literally, you don't have to go all the way to the top. You can just put them on the sides. I just put them on the top because I was talking as I was doing it, and of course I just put them wherever I could. But you don't have to. So what we'll do is we'll spin this one on that way, and then when we make this swirl, we'll put it on that way. We'll see if there's a difference. I'm hoping there isn't, because this is supposed to be an earring set, right? Actually, these might be a little big, because I did not pull any pearl out to compensate for the red and green that I put in here. So these might be a little bigger. Okay, so this is going to be more of a, I don't know, more of a candy kind of look to it. And sometimes it kind of rolls all the way down, so you got to push it back up. Just make sure that when you pick it up to look at it, that you are putting it back down on the same side that you had it on. Because if I were to accidentally put it down on the wrong side and I spin it, it's going to unravel what I just did. It's just going to reverse everything. So make sure when you pick it up that you put it down on the same side that was up. Okay, so you just got to decide how far you want to go here. So we'll go about, I don't know, I can go like 20, 30, 40, sometimes even 50 spins. I'm not really happy with what I got. Okay, so this is this one right here. That one looks good on both sides. So, gotta make sure that it's nice and round. So I go nice big swirls here to get them back into shape. Okay, and then I just slowly put pressure on it and push them down. Okay, so that's number 2. So on this one, we're going to start it from this side. But you see how both sides, they came up just the same. So if you watch here, It's, I guess it would help if I made that a little bit more round, huh? Okay, so there's the top part on the opposite side. Okay, and you'll just watch the red and green, and they just kind of creep up to the center anyways. Yeah, if I go slow, I don't seem to get it spinning as much as I get it when I go kind of fast. So play around. Whatever works easiest for you. This could get really hard on your wrist and your fingers, because I'm putting a whole lot of pressure holding these. And yeah, after a while your wrist will start getting a little bit sore. So if you need to go slow, go slow. So this is almost done. Now, if you don't want those lines as thick as what I did, you can also make, instead of using a triangle pattern, you could just make a strip. You could put more or less on it. Okay. So that's 2 of them. And then if it's not quite round, like I don't know what happened to this, not as round as I was hoping it would be. Just use your fingers and go back and forth, get it back into that round shape. It's funny, whenever I do any kind of beads, it's like those first 2 always come out perfect, and I just can't get the rest of them like that. So we're just going to show you really quick on the strips that you can use. And actually, I'm going to put this through the machine, and I'm going to do it at a number 2. So we're going to have a little bit less clay. And you don't have to worry about it being even or anything like that. So I'm thinking, let's see. And I'm only going to do 1 of these. And if I like it, then I'll go ahead and make 1 more. So I had this at a number 2. You know, you could also do 2 stripes. You don't have to do 2 of each. Okay, that over there. I'm just going to kind of get it into a round shape. You can see that that's not perfect. So you can kind of do it all different ways. If you just want that swirl on the bottom, I'll show you how you can do that as well. Okay, so you kind of get the same design by doing it that way instead of a triangle. Okay. As you can see, it's just not as much as the other one. So that's a little less on the red. I'm gonna have to roll this out a little bit more because it's not as round as I would like it. And I don't know if I put the right side on there. So like I was telling you before, if you don't, you're just gonna end up spinning it. Now you could also leave this as a long oval. It doesn't have to be. But look at that. So this was the line. So where did all the red and the green go? It basically ate it all. It just literally ate the red and the green. So that's a little interesting. I mean, I knew that that could happen, but I don't think I've seen it happen completely like that. So it's all inside somehow. Which actually, why waste a good thing, right? So let's see what happens if we cut these into little pieces. Because we know the red's there and the green is there. So yeah, that was interesting. I don't think I've ever had it happen like that before. You know, so now just kind of, it's not wasted. All that color is in there. Fine, I'll just keep them all the same size, all the same direction here. What I'm going to do with it, I have no idea. So I can make these flattened earrings. It would have looked good if there was just a little bit of color on the outside. Those would have made some really, really pretty earrings. Just having that strip. So, you know, you can just do that and just cut out a pair of earrings out of that. I don't know how it's going to look, but you can cut it up. So, yeah, we're going to butcher this. So, it's already butchered, I guess. So, might as well take our mistakes and try and make something with it, right? This way it'll cover all of that pearl, although I really like that pearl. Because it kind of gives it a little mother of the pearl look. So what I could do is just take some pearl and then just make this really thin and then just cut out a couple shapes. So I'm not going to throw that out. That could... Oh, don't kill me, guys. Fine. Watch. I may just screw this up right now. Okay, that gave a whole different color than what we started out with. And it kind of turned my pearl into more of a red. So we saved it, but there's no way I'm going to be able to repeat it. Okay, so this could be a focal. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing, and I think that's it for today. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, so we are back, and I wanted to show you the other thing that you can do. So I'm taking two again of the pearl clay. Boy, I had a brain freeze right there. And I'm going to do kind of different, I think. I'm going to do the red and green because it's Christmassy. I mean, I could do just red and I can do just green. I'm going to do a red and a green. Okay, so we're going to do 2 of those as well. I'll make sure my hands are clean. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit alcohol on the hand just to make sure I don't have any red clay on there. Which I don't know if I do or not. I'm going to find out now. Okay, so again, we're going to make little circles. And you can do this with any color combo that you want. Okay, and let's do the green next. Actually, if I want to make a pair of earrings, I'm going to need to make 4 of these. So let's do that and get rid of that. Hopefully I can get 2 out of this, and I can. Okay. I'm going to do 2 more of the pearl. Okay, so there's 2 greens. And we're going to do 2 pearls and 2 reds. Actually, I didn't need to make 2 of these, and I'll show you why. Okay, so we're going to cut that in half. I only needed 1 of those. I'm going to cut this in half, and in half again. Put a red on that one, and a red on that one. Yeah, I didn't need that extra slice. I'm going to put the green right there. Oops, I just took away my other red, didn't I? And we're going to put the red right there. Why does that look off? Okay. So now I got half red and white, or red and green, and then the other half is a straight pearl. Okay, and I want to leave that red and green on the bottom. And then hopefully it'll just stay half and half. You can make it all solid red, you can make it solid green, you know, and if you go into another color, oops, I'm a little off on this one. There you go, just make wide circles and you'll get it back. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure that we got that perfect circle here. And then just kind of slide it down. Okay, so now you have it on the bottom. Okay, so there's a bunch of different ways you can do that. You can also take your clay and put it in a strip, which we can do a real quick one of those. I'll show you one more. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw these in the oven and bake them. And then we'll sand them and we'll see how good we can do at buffing. So I have an industrial buffer. I don't know if it's industrial, but it's the one you can buy like at Harbor Freight. I think I got mine on Amazon. And I barely use it because normally I resin most of my stuff. But I do have a Dremel with some fabric, whatever buffers that I've got. So I can use those as well. Alright, I like that. So we're going to go ahead and just make sure we're round. And slide it down. Ooh, I do not like that shape. So we're going to kind of pick it up. Get it back into the shape that I wanted. And just make sure that there. Alright, much better. Okay. So let's do that one real quick. So on that one, you know, you can just take some pearl or whatever color, excuse me, a little hiccup there. It doesn't really matter what, I got the hiccups now. It doesn't matter what colors you use. Same technique for all colors. The only problem with this is it's going to turn red because red is all over my hands and there's no way I'm going to be able to avoid this. Okay, make kind of like a candy cane. As you can see, it kind of eats up a lot of that pearl. Okay, I'm going to squish it. And I might just add a little bit more pearl to this. Or it's going to be straight red and green. Let's roll it one more time. I mean, this would look good like that. You know, just turn it into a candy cane for a pair of earrings right there. I'm going to do this one more time. Okay, we're going to squish it down. Alright. And yes, you can use this just as it is. You could flatten it. Once you get that nice little cane design in there, you can just flatten it. And I'll show you what I mean. Obviously it's really thin now, but you can always flatten it too. Just like that. You know, and you can make some cool earrings just like that. Alright, so let's just nope, didn't want to crush it. This is just marbling a little bit. just gonna make sure that it's all the same size. And we're just gonna go about 1/2 inch. And 2, 2, 2, perfect, and 2. These are gonna be a little smaller. Okay, I like putting the acrylic block on where I can get all 3 colors. Yeah, we're going to do 2 of them here. Alright, so let's start. See, to me that looks like mud. It's really dark. So that's why you want more pearl than you do the 2 colors, because it will eat it up. And I wouldn't put the pearl on top because then all the other colors are going to get into it. So find a color like red and green. And start with those, and that way you'll bring up the pearl. And the pearl should show up more. So like all this pearl right there, I'm going to have that on the bottom. And hopefully it'll bring the pearl all the way up. And that way we'll have a little more pearl on this. But who knows, when it's buffed you might see that the pearl a little better. Okay, so that's it for today. So those were kind of fun. This really quick, I guess before I go, I'm gonna, yeah, I think you're a little too thin to try a candy cane, but what the heck. Let's see what happens, right? Okay, so I can put that on my plate or whatever I'm going to bake it on and just do it. I can cut a little bit off. It could even actually go over a Christmas tree, whatever you want to do with it. So that's it for today, guys. I'm going to go ahead and throw these in the oven, and I will come back and I guess we'll sand them together, and that way you can show how I do it. I don't do it by hand. I usually use a little machine because my hands just don't like to sand. But we'll see if we can get it to where it's a really nice buff. If not, then I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. So I am also going to work on another video. Again, that's jewelry. So in this, it's going to be cross-posted onto a new YouTube channel, which would be Me and the Mutts. And so I'm going to introduce myself there because it's going to be a separate channel. So you could just forward through all that. And if you don't want to watch me make jewelry, obviously you don't have to. But if you do, you're going to hear an introduction and all that good stuff like it was my very first video. So as long as you don't mind that, I'm okay with that. But you can always have that option of forwarding through it too as well. So we will see you in a little bit. Talk to you then. Bye. Alrighty guys, we are back. And I'm a little perturbed here because I have a lot of sandpaper and each of them come in little bags with a different grit. And I can't find anything past 800. I found a 5,000, but I don't want to use a 5,000 after an 800. There's a 2,000 and a 5,000. So I might have to hand sand some of these. But anyways, we're starting with 400 grit. And the one thing great about these is they're pretty much already smooth. So it's not really going to take much to sand these. So just a little bit off. You know, you don't have to press really hard, and this is also great to get rid of handprints or fingerprints and stuff like that. And like a little mark right here. That might just be part of the design on this one. He's not coming off. Okay, so that's the 400. And the goal here is to buff these instead of put resin on them. So there's not a whole lot you have to do. Fairly simple, but if your design is really thin on the top, you have to be careful because it could take that color right off. Okay, so that's 400 grit, and this is just a callus remover that you get on Amazon. And I grabbed these two-inch little foamy things, and I just glued it on top of it. And then the rest has got Velcro. Okay, so I'm just going to use 800 by hand. But if you got hands like me, see, this was so thin that it took off some of that red on that one. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to use this one or not. But see, to me, this is just so difficult, especially if you have, you know, fingers that don't work well. And you can do it like this, but because it's round, it's easier just to have it in your hands. Okay, so we'll do that one since that's the other half of it. And then when we get to the 2000, I'll go back to the other one. And it looks like I might have to order more sandpapers so that I have some for the next time I do this. I know there's got to be an easier way. Oop. So can you put this in a tumbler? Yes, you can, and it works really well. But because I have such a big tumbler, it takes a lot to fill it up. And then I never get to any of it, so this way I can do it. You guys can see what I'm doing faster than if I were to do it the other way. So this is a 1500 grit. I don't think I need to go past 5,000. I know it can go all the way up to 15,000. Probably even higher than that, but... Alright, so this is a little easier. So that one's done. And I'm just doing it at a slant, since these are lentil beads with a dome. You don't want to go straight down on these or you'll lose that slant. I just do a circular motion. I think these set are my favorite with the color that was in the middle. Two more. This is at 1500. Sanding is the worst part, but also the best part, because one, it's a lot of work, but two, when you're done and you see the results of it, it makes such a huge difference. And from here on out, since I had that show this weekend, I'm not doing it. She was supposed to email me all the, the setup times and all that. And she didn't. And then she wrote back the next day and apologized for not getting it out to me. Oops, I just dropped one. And then says she'll send it again. And I still haven't got it. So it's like, if there's kind of that much disorganization just to get me an email, then I don't think it's going to be something I want to do. Plus, it's like on the heels of the last show, and that last one kicked my butt. So, we're just going to wait. There might be one other show before the end of the year, which is why I'm working on some Christmas stuff. But honestly, even if there isn't any more, I'm good. But I want to be more purposeful going forward. I want to try new techniques, just not all makumigani or cut and bake and stuff like that. I don't know. I want to up the game a bit, which is why I'm having a hard time getting some new videos up there, because I don't quite know which one to start with. So I promise by Sunday I'll have something new. It might be flowers and vines on a bead, just something different. And it's almost fall, or it's almost winter, and so usually I start working on spring stuff. So there might be some flowers in my future, because I always like making flowers, but again, it's kind of the same thing over and over. So I need to find a twist on that as well. Okay, so doing these right after making them saves me so much time in the end instead of having a whole bucket full. It's not quite as overwhelming. Actually, I'm not putting that much pressure on it, so it's not hurting my hand as much as probably holding it. So this is working out very well. Okay, so that's the 2000, right? And I don't think I have 5000. I have a 1500 and a 2. I do have a 5000 in those, so I might just jump from 2000 to 5000. We'll see what happens. I've got some new cutters on the horizon. If any of you guys like rollers, I have got a real pretty one that I just listed. It's called Lace, and it is just really pretty. I was really pleased with how it turned out. I think I sold out. No, I think I got a couple more left. I'm making some more now because a couple people found them, and I only make a couple at a time. So take a look at that. There's a sample one on site. Just put in Lace in the search bar and it'll pop it right up. Alright, so now since I don't have 5000 grit in the flat paper, we are going to go back to this one. And I love this because it's just the Velcro, and you just take the grit off and take them back on. So we're going to do the big one here. And again, there's really not a whole lot to do. Just kind of run it over the top a few seconds, and that's all you really need. Yeah, this is that one where this was the one with the thin lines that we did, so I don't recommend that one. Make your lines a lot thicker, because as you can see, just by sanding it, it took a lot of the red off. So probably will not use those. Okay. Oop, don't drop it. Yay, I saved it. But I don't know what side I already did. Let's do that one. Yes, you need to hold on to these. That's why I don't like using the industrial buffer that I got, because man, these shoot out of your hands and across the room. Probably could really seriously hurt somebody if anybody was standing on the other side. So you just got to make sure you got a really good grip on it. Unfortunately, I don't know what side it popped out on. Try it again. And the last one. And then we're going to buff it. Alrighty, I think that's it. So let's move this out of the way because I will spill it. And let me get just a regular towel. And now I just need my Dremel and a buffer. So I've got a whole bag here. And these I don't like. These are little foamy ones. It's best if you get the ones with the material. Kind of like, you know, like it's pieces. And I do have one. I just got to find them. I don't know why I don't like these as much as the other ones. Oh, but I might have to pause in order to find those. Let's see if I can find them in here. So these are the other ones that I'm telling you about. They're just kind of like the material. Those seem to work a little better. So we're going to do the ones that I don't like first. I'll show you the difference between the two. So we'll do this one first, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to sell about 15 on these. And another thing you got to worry about this is, yes, they can definitely jump out of your hands, but there's no give to these. You don't want to leave it on very long or you will burn them. Still lose the color, but that's why we're practicing on this one. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, so you can see the shine, but not really well. And now we'll try this other. See which one I like better. I need cleaner ones is what I need. Okay. is not giving me as much of a shine as the other one. So I didn't do this one as long, but, and I don't know what you can see. This one has more of a shine, but it's also uneven. If you go too hard, it's just going to ruin it. I'm wondering if I should use the industrial one. I'm going to just hit pause real quick and see if I have another one that might be better to use. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I couldn't find another one of these, so I actually took these in the garage and used the industrial strength one. So I want to show you, yeah, okay. So I don't know how well you can see any of this. Maybe if I put something that's not so, I don't know, dingy. Like this isn't any better, right? Okay, so this is using that hand buffer, okay? And you can see that there's some areas, and I got all this little white stuff from the buffer in my nails. Don't ask me how I did that, but it's literally stuck on my hands. Okay, but you see the shine, and you can see where there's areas where there's no shine. But taking it out in the garage and using the industrial one, I don't know if you can see how much more of a shine that we got on that. So that was just the experiment one. That was the other one, which I don't think I did at all. But these were my favorite. So I don't know if you can see how well that one worked. So I think I'm going to stick with the industrial one for now on, because they are shiny and smooth and really pretty. Look at that. See that shine? And I think I got the industrial one off of Amazon. If any of you are interested, I can find out who I got it from, and I will link it into my Amazon store, just in case you guys are interested in buying one. I think I spent like $60, $65 on it. The cool thing on Amazon is they do have sales. You know, you just got to wait for them. But if you put it in your savings, save it in your cart for like a save for later, a lot of times you'll get like a little email, you know, there are changes in the prices of stuff that you saved. And sure enough, you can get them for cheap. Okay, so I like that. So this is the scariest part. And actually, I'm going to do this off of camera so I can get my head in here. But you're just going to kind of put this, make sure you're straight up and down. So cross your fingers that I don't mess it up. Okay, guys, so we have our holes in there. And I found these little spacers. So I'm trying to see which one I like better. So I'm going to make a set in gold and a set in silver. See which one I like better, either that gold or that one. I like that brushed gold on it, but I'm gonna go with the smaller ones on this one. The one thing great about what we do is we can always make more. So let me get me a round nose here. that's a little high. So if you go a little higher than you want, just stick your round nose back in there and keep turning. You can actually turn it to go lower. That might be a little better. And then you'll just have to play around a little bit and get it back where you want it, but it's usually the easiest way to do it. Okay, so now I've got 3. Oh my gosh. I had everything so perfectly clean up here, and within one session I kind of destroyed everything all over again. So it's kind of typical. I'm not doing anything special on the other side of the camera. I'm just trying to push these wraps up so I can do one more. I wanted these a little longer so that they don't fit right underneath your ear, so they got a little bit of a hang to it. Now we're just cleaning up that wire. Okay, so there's one. We didn't like that one. We went with this one instead. Okay, so we're going to do the same again. I'm going to try and go a little lower on this one. Okay, that should give me 3 wraps. Hoping. Yeah, I'm not wearing my glasses, so I don't need it close up. But my far away is getting less far away than it used to. But up close, I'm fine. Okay, so we have those cleaned up. And now I just need some silver jump rings here, or not jump rings, silver head pins. I like those little dot ones. It is definitely a Monday today. Now I can't find. Oh, there we are. Sorry about that, guys. It started out organized today. It just gets crazy. I worked on 2 projects today, so I've got a couple things here on my table. Alright, so these are what I want. These are 23 gauge, a little thicker, but it's got that ball on the bottom. And I'm kind of liking that ball. So I promised I would clean this up and show these to you as soon as I'm done. These are a little big, so we're going to see how they look. I know I have smaller ones somewhere. Alright, I'm going to hit pause real quick and see if I have just a little smaller than these. I know, oh, I do. Never mind, I found them. 5, okay. So let's get all these put away now. Alright. You can also use an eye pin on these, that way you can hang little danglies off of them. So now, all right, fingers, just work for a little bit and make me happy. I have two different round beads. I've got some round ones and then I've got some disc shaped ones. So now it's just figuring out what I want to use. Okay, so I've got these. Big and small. I like the bigger ones. And then I have these disc ones. And I guess it doesn't matter because some people are going to like the disc and some are going to like the round. Okay, so that's the round one. I wish I had brushed silver like I did on that gold. All right. Oh. Kind of going with the disc. And I have smaller ones. That just seems too small. Alright, let's see what this disc looks like. And again, we can always make more. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish these up. And we are done. So this wire is just a little thicker than that other one, and you can actually tell the difference even by a millimeter. So this one I'm definitely not going to be able to do with my hands. Thank God for extra tools, right? Alright, so we're going to snip this piece off. I'm out of camera so I can get up close here. And we're just going to clip this close to the edge. Okay. Do the same with this one. Oh, I have that. Okay. So now we're just going to do the same on this. And then we'll get some ear wire on it and show you our finished earrings. So what did I learn today? It's got a little bit too much, I think. How many reps do I have on this? Just 2. So I learned that buffing with my buffer wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I didn't lose any beads. Nothing went shooting across the room. So I'm going to have to use that machine a little more. Oh my gosh, Irene, I know I can see better than that. And, oh my goodness. I'm having a hard time, y'all. I don't get it. It's just one of those days. Like I said earlier, it is my Monday. Alright, so we are done with that. Let me grab some little posts here. We got some silvers. So I'm going to grab 2 of those. I'm going to grab, oh, I've got some with some sparkly gold on this. So let's grab 2 of those. And then we can put them on something and show you what it looks like. So these are the gold. There's one. This one's already open. So I'm going to find that best side, which is this one. And I want to make sure I've got this one on that perfect side as well. Okay, and the same with those. Now I can go take my dogs for their nightly walk. I don't know what's up with Makita the last couple of days. She's been having a really hard time getting around. So the doctor wants to put her on some arthritis medication, but I went on some of the Facebook groups and there's a lot of people complaining about this medication. I don't know if any of you have arthritic dogs. Have you ever heard of something called Librela? That's the medication they want to put her on. So, all right, let me get something white that we can actually see these on. And my tiles are probably not as clean as they should be, but it might be good enough just to hang these up on, right? I'm going to open those up. Oh, forget it. I'm not even going to open those up. Okay. So these are our earrings. So we have silver and gold. Silver and gold. Reminds me of, oh, what show is that? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Okay, so there we go. So there we go. And they got that nice little shine to them. And I didn't even have to use resin this time. So that's it for the day, guys. I hope you liked those. That was really fun to make. And I will see you next time. Talk to you then. Bye.